UFC 304, Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. We're going to break down this card. I'm going to tell you who I like, which are my picks, and we're going to go over the entire card. Now, before I start, guys, just want to tell you I smashed last card. I had this bet here, which I was very confident on, Trey Ogden. It played out exactly like I said. He was an underdog. We got him as an underdog, 2 units. He won by decision. And this card, I have a lot of similar picks. And also, guys, I want to tell you that I officially opened my Patreon. My Patreon is going to be very, very simple. We're going to have the picks. We're going to have a fight chat. And you could ask me any question. That's it. It's just $4.99 a month. So if you join, you're going to get my picks for UFC 304 for the entire month of August, which is going to have a lot of fight. It's going to include PFL, Bellator, $4.99 for now. This price is probably going to increase in the future. Only one tier. If you want to join, the link is in the description below. Now, let's go and break down this card. So let's start with the first bout of the night. We got Shauna Bannon taking on Elliott Ardelean. I'm telling you right now, this is a stay away from me. I'm not impressed by any of the girls. I'm just gonna say about Shauna Bannon. She looks slow against Bruna Brasil. The only thing that she has is a good chin. She's very tough. She can take a punch because she ate a lot of punches from Bruna Brasil. I was surprised she didn't get knocked out. Now, Elliott Ardelean, she's like a famous TikToker. She's like a influencer, and that's never a good thing. Like, you want a fighter that is, I'd say, that is focused on fighting. And I'm not so sure that's what Elliott is. If I'm going to make any bet here, I would say it's going to be the over. Both girls are tough. Both girls were never knocked out. I don't see Shauna Bannon submitting her, so it's probably going to be a decision. The over could be live or just Shauna Bannon. I think she's the better fighter out of the two. Next fight, we got Mick Parkin taking on Lukasz Brzeski. My pick here is Mick Parkin. I will explain why. Mick Parkin he has decent IQ. He has good volume. He knows how to utilize his advantages against his opponent. Disadvantages, we saw it in his last fight against Usman, where he just kept kicking him and chopping up his legs. Now, Brzeski, I'm not impressed. Like, he won against Valter Walker only because Valter Walker was gassed bad in his last fight. He lost to Acosta, lost to Carl Williams, lost to Budai. And the thing about Parkin can go 3 rounds. This fight is in England, in his home turf. He's training with Tom Aspinall. I'm impressed by his performance overall. He's bigger, he's stronger than Lukasz Brzeski, who's off the juice. So I like Parkin here. I don't see him winning by knockout or submission. I see it going the full 3 rounds to a decision, which is going to be in favor of Parkin. Next fight, we got Sam Peterson taking on Kiefer Crosbie. This is going to be a stay away from me personally. What's going to happen is, if Kiefer Crosbie can touch Peterson, it's probably over for Peterson because he has no chin. We saw it in his fight against Ashmuz. But I think Sam Peterson really took a deep lesson from that. He managed to submit easily Johan Lainez in Canada. And when you look at Kiefer Crosbie, I'm not really impressed by him. He got submitted 2 times in the first round. Arm triangle choke and what was the other one? Rear naked choke by Josette. Peterson can do both. I like Peterson here. I'm saying first round submission, but I'm staying away because if he can touch him, if he manages to get to the chin, it's over for Peterson. Next fight, which I'm surprised it's a prelim, because this is gonna be a banger. We got Manel Kape taking on Mokaev. I'm picking Mokaev here, and I got him already, and the odds started moving in favor of my direction. He's a good wrestler. He's an elite wrestler. And Manel Kape struggled in his last round striking with Felipe dos Santos. He got taken down by Dvorak. He lost to Nicolau because he managed to out-grapple him. And Mokaev is a much better grappler than Nicolau and Dvorak. And I know people are looking at him like he has zero striking, but he has good striking and he improves his striking. I see him taking down Manel Kape, controlling him, getting the ground and pound, even a submission. I'm not that impressed by Kape. I think that he's very twitchy. He can do stupid shit during the fight that would be an opening for Mokaev, which was very patient and has this way of finding submissions like he found against Team Elliott at the third round, while Team Elliott was winning, but Team Elliott has really good wrestling on his own. I'm picking Mokaev. I think he does it by decision or submission. He's not going to knock out Kape, but he can get the submission or the decision win. I'm confident. I'm picking Mokaev. He's going to win. Next fight, we got Oban Elliott taking Preston Parsons. Now, many people are picking Oban Elliott, and I don't understand. And I will explain why. Preston Parsons, in my opinion, is a far better grappler. He has better pressure. Oban Elliott struggled against Val Woodbourne. He got touched by him. He even struggled against Kike Brito, who just gassed the third round, and that gave him the option to win. He got only two wins, like contender, and one win in the UFC. I'm not impressed. His striking is not that good, and so is his wrestling, in my opinion, with all due respect. Preston Parsons, great win against Semmelsberger. He looked really good. I was picking Semmelsberger there. I thought Semmelsberger was going to win, but no. Parsons, both striking and grappling, look really good. He had a competitive loss against Giles. He won against Evan Elder. This is aging really well. He got knocked by Daniel Rodriguez. This was 3 years ago. But I don't see him getting knocked out by Oban Elliott. And when it gets to the grappling, I think Preston Parsons is going to be far more dangerous. And even in the striking, I think he's going to have an advantage against Oban Elliott. Now let's dive a bit deeper here. So I want to go over the stats with you guys when it comes to this fight. Let's find. Yeah, here it is. So let's view the matchup. Okay, so Oban Elliott only got decisions. We don't get a lot from him here, but it's still gonna be something. Reach, almost the same. Strikes landed per minute, we see an advantage for Oban Elliott, but that's because if you look at control time, it should be much more for Preston Parsons, in my opinion. So you can see he got more takedowns. He got good takedown defense. And he got more submissions. Okay, we don't have a lot of information on he got just 2 fights, but you can see that the grappling part should favor Mr. Parsons. And again, this is not very accurate because you cannot compare the competition here to the competition here. You just can't. Okay. But we know he has good takedown defense. I'm not really impressed by Oban Elliott takedowns. And we know he has the submission threat. For the striking, again, he went against really good strikers like Trevin Giles, Evan Elder, both elite strikers, even Rodriguez. So those stats are going to look differently with Oban Elliott. Anyway, I'm picking Preston Parsons. Confident pick. Next one, we got Modestas Bukauskas against Marcin Prachnio. I'm going to pick the underdog here. I think Prachnio is going to be the more volume striker. We know Bukauskas is very cautious, picks his shots very well. But I think that Marcin Prachnio, his experience, his volume, his leg kicks are going to pose a problem to Bukauskas. Now, there is a age gap, 36 years old compared to 30 years old. And if we look at the stats, it's going to be interesting. Let's move to the stats with these two. So, reach, Bukauskas is going to have the reach, switch, orthodox. You can see, so this is the volume, the difference. You got 561 strikes landed per minute compared to 3.28, which is almost double. You got better striking accuracy. You got better defense. So he observes 3.87, 3.3. So you got better defense. Grappling, we don't see Bukauskas ever going for a takedown. So this is gonna be mostly standing, and the volume and the defense, in my opinion, would be in favor of Prachnio when it comes to the judges, and that's why I'm picking Prachnio to win by decision. Next fight, we got Loughran versus Jake Hadley. This is another confident pick I have. I'm picking Caolan to win. Jake Hadley is going up a weight class short notice, okay? Short notice. That's the thing. He's fighting flyweight, and he's not that big of a flyweight. Now he's taking on Loughran, which is he's a bantamweight. He's much physically stronger than Jake Hadley, and he's gonna force the takedowns. And when he's gonna get the takedowns, he's just gonna stay safe, in my opinion, and get the back or just ground and pound. We know Jake Hadley is a good jiu-jitsu, and sometimes he even likes to go and fight off his back, trying to get a submission. But Loughran was never finished. He's very physically imposing. Like, you can see how he's built. He's built like a brick. And yeah, he had problems with Tyler Lapidus, but that's because he couldn't take down Lapidus. He's gonna take down Jake Hadley, and he's gonna get the decision win. Jake Hadley is tough. We saw it in his fight against the fight he lost against Charles Johnson, where I picked Charles Johnson to win. And we saw it in Cody Durden. Like, what you're getting out of Loughran is he's like Cody Durden, only much more physical. So even if Jake Hadley gets close to an armbar or close to a triangle, Loughran power and physicality will play in his favor. He's a natural bantamweight. Jake Hadley is a flyweight. It's just all the things here are against Jake Hadley. I think he's taking this fight on short notice just because he wants some Dana points. And that's it. I'm picking Caolan. I think he's a good parlay piece as well. And yeah. Next fight, we got Bruna, Brasil taking on Molly McCann. I'm going with Meatball to win by knockout. We saw what happened to Bruna Brasil against Denise Gomes. I think we're going to see that again. Bruna Brasil is a striker. I've never seen her really using her grappling fighting. I don't think she's going to use it now. Molly McCann, she had a terrible loss against Julia Stolyarenko. And she also lost to Blanchfield. That's nothing to be ashamed of. But you see her kryptonite is the grappling. But I don't see Bruna Brasil forcing grappling with Molly McCann. I think Molly McCann is much more physical. I think she's going to be much more dangerous in the pocket. We know Bruna Brasil has no chin. She got brutally knocked out by Denise Gomes, and she's going to get brutally knocked out by Molly McCann. I like her as a parlay piece as well, especially in her home turf. Next fight, we got Daniel Pineda taking on Nathaniel Wood. Giving Nathaniel Wood, the guy got robbed against Naimov. Like, the referee was, I don't know what he did there, but Naimov was really taking advantage of nasty shit in there, grabbing his gloves and some other stuff. Anyway, stuff that played in his favor, and the referee did nothing about it. And Naimov is good. Don't get me wrong. I like Naimov. He's a good fighter. He's much better than Pineda. I'm picking Wood. I think he's going to chop off Daniel's legs. And I think he can get the knockout, maybe in the second or the third round. The last fight he had was a competitive fight against Caceres. A lot of scrambling, which went in favor of Caceres. I think Wood is better than Caceres. I think Wood will be able to utilize his leg kicks and win. Okay, he's focused. He got, this is him all day. I like him again as a parlay piece to win. I like his activity compared to Pineda. So yeah. Next fight, we got Arnold Allen and Giga Chikadze. I like Allen here again. Controversial loss against Movsar Evloev. I think those knees were legal, and Evloev just used that referee stoppage break, I'd say, to recover and all that. He managed to really pose Evloev problems with the scrambling and all that. Giga Chikadze is a kickboxer. He's not going to try to grapple with Arnold Allen. I'd say the opposite. I'd say Arnold Allen is going to grapple with Giga. And if he takes him down, it's going to be a nightmare for Giga, because Arnold Allen is a really good grappler. I'm picking Arnold Allen. I think he has advantage both on the feet, but especially in the grappling department, and he can take down Giga. So I'm picking Arnold Allen. If you're just going to look at the stats here for both fighters, I think we're going to see... so let's look at the grappling. So Arnold Allen has good takedown. Good. Like, it depends against who, but you can see that he has the better takedown defense, and he got takedowns, right? He, especially when compared to Giga, you see that Giga just wants to keep it standing. On average of 15 minutes, Arnold Allen is getting a takedown. He's going to get a takedown here because he knows this is where Giga is having problems. And I'm picking Allen to win. He's going to be smart enough to get it to the mat, and if not, he's going to be well off in the striking. Next fight in the main card, we got Christian Leroy Duncan taking on Gregory Rodriguez. It's going to be an interesting fight. This is near even, but I'm picking Gregory Rodriguez, and I will explain why. People are looking at Rodriguez as, looking at his power with his striking, but he's not even a striker. He's a grappler. That's actually his advantage. That's where he shines. He's a jiu-jitsu world champion, a former jiu-jitsu world champion, and I see him getting the takedowns against Christian Leroy Duncan. Like, although he knocked out Denis Stululan controlled him a bit against the cage for a while, but Denis Stululan is no grappler. He has no takedowns. Gregory Rodriguez is much more physical than Denis Stululan. We saw what he did to Denis Stululan. how easily he took him down. And Gregory Rodriguez can both knock Christian Leroy, or he can take him to the mat and submit him or get the ground and pound, and that's it. When you see it, Christian Leroy Duncan lost. He lost to Armen Petrosyan, and he actually got taken down by Armen Petrosyan. Let's see their stats here. Where is it? Armen Petrosyan and Leroy Duncan and Rodriguez. So look at the amount of takedowns this guy gets on average. 246 takedowns on average. His takedown defense is 100%. I don't know if anyone want to take this guy down. And this guy has a 50% takedown defense. He's not going for takedowns. Armen Petrosyan, by the way, Armen Petrosyan lost to a guy who's very similar to Gregory Rodriguez. I forgot his name, but let's look at the just real quick, because this is a very similar fight, by the way. So if we look at Christian Leroy Duncan, he lost to Armen Petrosyan, who lost to Rodolfo Vieira. Rodolfo Vieira, another very scary black jiu-jitsu guy. And I think this fight is gonna end in the same way. I think Gregory Rodriguez is gonna do to Christian Leroy Duncan what he's gonna do to Christian Leroy Duncan what Rodolfo Vieira did to Armen Petrosyan. That's what I think gonna happen. Next fight, we got Bobby Green taking on Paddy Pimblett. I know many people are picking Bobby Green, but the guy got 15 losses. He's 38 years old almost, and he has no chin. Like we saw that against Jalen Turner, who really, if there was any chin left, Turner took it. He got an impressive win against Jim Miller. I'll be honest, I picked Jim Miller because I thought Jim Miller is going to utilize his grappling, he's going to utilize his takedowns. But Jim Miller shown zero IQ in that fight. He tried to strike with a striker. I think Paddy Pimblett is a bit smarter than Jim Miller, and I think that he's actually going to go for the takedowns. And he's not going to try to strike too much against Green. But he's way bigger. He's more physical. He has the reach advantage. And I think he can find the chin. Like, somehow he can knock out Bobby Green. Paddy Pimblett has decent chin. Again, he's fighting in his own turf, which is going to play to his favor. He was never knocked out. We're not going to see what Bobby Green did to, what's his name, Grant Dawson, who has no chin whatsoever. I think Paddy Pimblett is going to get the takedowns. We saw what happened. We saw what happened to Bobby Green against Islam. Now, I'm not saying that Paddy Pimblett is anywhere near Islam, but Islam finished him in the first round. If this gets to 3 rounds and Paddy knows that this is going to be his advantage, I think he's going to go and get the takedown. Will he get it? I don't know. Bobby Green has good takedown defense. But let's look what happened against Dawson. Dawson couldn't even strike to grapple with him because he got knocked out in the first 30 seconds. Against Ferguson touched him. He dropped him. Turner is not a grappler, he's a striker. Miller didn't even try the grappling. So, who really, the only person who tried to take down Bobby Green was Islam, and he destroyed him. So it really goes down to if Paddy Pimblett manages to get a takedown. and if Paddy Pimblett manages to touch Green, which I think he will. I think he's the much faster. I wouldn't say faster, but he's younger. His reflexes are there. He's gonna have the judges' advantage if it gets to a decision. I like Pimblett here, and you got him as an underdog. Next fight, we got Tom Aspinall taking on Curtis Blades. Guys, I'm picking Aspinall. Their first fight ended only because his knee blew up, Aspinall's knee. I see Aspinall winning by first round knockout. He's going to show the world why he's the best heavyweight. I think he could win against John Jones. This guy is a new breed of heavyweights. He knocked out Pavlovich, which Pavlovich knocked out Blades. Man, I'm picking Aspinall. Very confident this is going to be a first round or second round top finish by Aspinall. And the last fight, the main event, we got Leon Edwards taking on Belal Muhammad. I'm picking up Leon Edwards to win. This is not going to be close, man. Leon Edwards has fought against wrestlers again, against Covington, Usman. Nate Diaz is not a wrestler. But man, Edwards is going to be far bigger. It's going to be longer. He's going to have the striking advantage. He's going to have a takedown defense to keep this fight standing. He could even get a takedown against Belal Muhammad if he wants to play with him. We saw what he did to Covington. I want you to look. Again, Leon Edwards is he's longer. He's I think he's the more dangerous striker, and his grappling is underrated. Like, we saw what he did to Gunnar Nelson, Gunnar Nelson is a really good grappler, and he dominated that grappling exchanges. I think Leon Edwards is going to keep this fight standing, and I think he's going to finish Belal Muhammad by knockout. Their first fight, Belal Muhammad, you had the eye poke, but Leon was winning that fight. I think he's going to win here again, and we're going to see Leon Edwards taking on Islam Makhachev. And in that fight, I'm probably going to pick Makhachev. With that being said, Leon Edwards is the pick. Guys, if you haven't liked the video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to join my Patreon, it's only $4.99. I'm going to share my picks for UFC 304, and of course it's going to be a chat. It's going to be very simple, very efficient package. $4.99. That's it, guys. I'll see you in the next one.